We're gonna react to Jim Pappo's video, apparently about Duffy's Digital Circus. And honestly, if he says something stupid, I'm gonna immediately close out of this video. Cause if he says something like that stupid, like this will be a short video. If he says some dumb bullcrap, like 10 or less minutes in or something.
This video contains mature content. If you are someone who's underage, I strongly suggest you do not watch this. Stop me if you've heard this before. Internet discussion sucks. In the eyes of the public, the art of debate is null and void. Instead of a civil discussion where both sides say their piece, everyone seems to bat for fictional characters as though their life depends on it. And more often than not, said argument ends with one person being called a contrarian. The issue is, a lot of the time the accused is not trying to be one. They just don't agree with the popular statement. I tend to be labeled a contrarian because my beliefs are often abrasive. I am someone with very picky tastes. But that doesn't mean
I am often labeled a contrarian, yeah. I think we all know why this dude was labeled a contrarian, if you remember the whole thing about robotizations. Terrible games for terrible people. Y'all remember that? I think I reacted to the video for like a bit, but then maybe I posted that reaction video, maybe I didn't. But what I remember is that I think I was going to post a reaction video on that, but when I was recording, I got rid of that footage because it was so dumb. Let's see if he says something stupid and he clowns on himself again and makes you close out his video.
And without joy. I can tell you with a straight face that I find Half-Life 2 boring, but gush about Eternal Sonata's art direction in the same breath. I know people like Half-Life, when the reasons why people like the series are the same reasons why I'm not fond of it. I'm bound to be called a contrarian. It's not like I come into it wanting to hate. I can try to like it, but I come away from it confused as to why someone could like it, because it's just not my thing. But on the internet, it doesn't matter how you come to a conclusion. The end statement is all that matters, because the public desire movement. So not liking something other people enjoy automatically makes you a contrarian, no matter your reasoning. And that rings especially true with internet horror. Internet horror is very odd.
Are you gonna take a bajillion minutes? It's to explain the concept of basic bullcrap, or are we going to are you going to talk about the thing that you're going to talk about, or are you going to spend 1,000 minutes explaining basic concepts and how I'm able to control it often? Are you gonna do that for a bajillion minutes, or are you gonna actually get into the topic?
Despite having a seemingly endless number of categories, most of them fall under the same umbrella. Its base comes from creepypasta, internet urban legends, fake media disguised as real events the unfortunate have encountered, and drowned, smile dog, Squidward's buzzword. Elements of this form of storytelling can be found scattered across this genre. If it wasn't for the work of random users in the early 2000s, internet horror as an idea would not be where it is today. For better or worse. Most of these stories are rather poorly written, and over-reliance on gore, shock, and vague posting. It's a product of its time, and it wears that age on its sleeve. This has trickled down to our modern idea of internet horror, more commonly known as analog horror, digital horror, or unfiction. Despite each category having a different name, they all function relatively the same outside of a visual difference. The same tropes and writing issues can be found all across this genre. For some, it's easy to look past it, because it's one lesser part of a whole experience. But for others, the issues are all there is. People do not like to hear that their favorite media is not perfect. They tend to get defensive, and more often than not, aggressive. And I understand why. It's human nature to want to protect what's close to you. The issue comes when that protection becomes offensive. To some, The Wall and Files is a perfect series with no flaws. To others, it's a standard piece of analog horror covered in blemishes. Both sides are steadfast in their belief, neither will hear the other side. If two stubborn individuals try to argue who's in the right, neither will accept an answer. It's an argument for the sake of having an argument. This infighting leads to nothing, because it came from nothing. Or, one side is fighting a losing battle, because their belief is founded on rough terrain.
I'm gonna start rambling about Amazing Digital Circus instead of actually getting into the topic.
The Amazing Digital Circus is a great example. Digital Circus is a serialized piece of indie animation created by
I think I add chapters to his videos. I know how to add chapters. I didn't know how to add chapters for 7 years, but now I do. This guy's probably been on a platform tiniest amount longer than me, and yet there's still no chapters. Why can't I just get chapters and skip the whole stupid...
Works and produced under Glitch Productions. Centered around a ragtag group of 6 people trapped in a circus-themed VR game as they're forced to go on silly adventures created by sentient AI and control the whole operation named Kane. There's a lot of gay people. Very basic synopsis, but it works for what I'm trying to say. Its actual story is more of a character-focused soap opera where wacky cartoon characters are faced with the realization that they are never going to find a way out of their digital hell and must cope with their own non-existence without breaking down mentally. I'm running with the assumption that you know what the series is about. I'm not going to paraphrase the story to you. Go watch it yourself. It's a wonderful series that's very popular amongst the worst people you ever meet, content farms and ALML. I myself am a big fan. I've already mentioned it before, but I love clowns. And the main character happens to be a jester. Until it's not. Jax is the other main character. The show did not make that apparent at all when it was being advertised, and still did not make that apparent until episode 6. A lot of the fans were okay with this. They didn't care who got the most spotlight, and if anything, most of them really wanted to fuck Jax or really wanted Jax upon you to fuck. But there was a non-zero number of people who were not expecting this sudden shift. These people grew angry, which led to constant infighting. One side called the other ungrateful for not liking the show's writing, while the other did not like being essentially lied to for a year and a half. Despite being a fan, I have no stakes in this debate, mostly because I just don't care. I get where both sides are coming from. The show was meant to be like this from the beginning, but at the same time, a lot of the cast does not get much development, and if they do, it happens off screen. People are bound to gravitate towards one or two characters, and those characters happen to be the only ones with ongoing arcs. Duffy's Digital Circus is a web series that encapsulates everything I've talked
thought it
about.
was
It's a
cool.
digital horror
Yeah.
project surrounding the amazing digital circus, where Pomni becomes fucked up and evil.
We're 5 whole minutes, 5 minutes and 26 seconds, and he's finally talking about Duffy's Digital Circus. This video is 54 minutes long. He has almost spent 10%, almost 10% of this video's length is spent on the intro. Do you see how wild that is? The intro was so long. We're almost 10% into the video already.
Its formula is one that has been used before and will be used long after it ends. As a base, it's not the most unique project by any means, but that does not mean it can't be good. I find Duffy to be very intriguing. I knew nothing about it, yet I kept seeing it being praised as something wonderful. To such an extent, I wanted to find out why for myself, which led me to a community that did not give me any hope for this series being good. When I'm trying to understand what people see in this concept, and the only thing I can find is people gooning to Pomni.exe,
And we're getting into the buzzword. It's Pomni.exe, Pomni.exe. Oh, I can find people doing the Pomni.exe. Maybe look harder. Look harder. Blind. Get some glasses, Mr. Blind. Maybe look harder than scrolling on like Twitter or something. Maybe look harder.
apologize if it gives me a bad impression. Despite my opinions being very abrasive, I like to give media a chance before I come to a conclusion. The only reason I can say I don't enjoy Half-Life 2.
Did you give media a chance when you dunked on a budget? When you tried to dunk and then proceed to fail to dunk on a bunch of different ASIMs and then everyone clowned on you for like a month?
Is due to me trying to play it for 9 hours to no avail. I'm just not a fan of sugarcoating. I'm looking to say my piece.
Let me check. I couldn't bother to check. I'm gonna play time at 2 days to be Half-Life.
Not to make someone diabetic. Despite my search, I could not find a concrete reason as to why people were obsessed with this project, but the reception is almost entirely positive. This cannot be the only reason. There has to be something here, right? The only reason. There has to be something here, right?
I almost barely saw that. Oh yes, do not harass the creator. I'm just gonna put that disclaimer in a part that you will probably miss. Pappo, if you don't want people to harass it, then the creator, maybe don't put it on screen for not even a full second of YouTube. Let's count the second.
But the reception is almost entirely positive.
With me.
This cannot be the only reason. There has to be something here, right?
It's on the screen for almost a full second. So if you're
The
watching,
only reason. There has to be something here, right?
Yeah, maybe. Did we get a flashing lights warning?
This video contains mature content. If you are someone who's underage, I strongly suggest you do not watch.
You'll learn for flashing lights, but you'll make
Omni.exe.
you'll make the whole thing saying that to not harass the person who created the thing I'm talking about on screen for like a single second.
Duffy's Digital Circus has a very unique style to it that I adore. The design process for it is redesigning the original show to resemble an old computer game. Old point-and-click games already had a very dreamlike ambiance to them. They're almost transient, unnerving to an extent. What happens to your brain when you see something you know but do not recognize? Garage Bad Dream Adventure is one of my favorite pieces of work. Its art direction is immaculate. The rough textures, the grime littered across your monitor. It's repulsive yet exquisite.
Sometimes I feel like someone says this is one of my favorite pieces of media, but then not actually have it as one of their favorite pieces of media. They just say that so they can look more knowledgeable in the topic they're talking about. Sometimes I feel like that, and right now I'm feeling like he's just saying that this is one of his favorite games, but he looked up old 90s, 80s computer games onto Google and found one that looked grungy. So he could say, oh, I very much love this specific 90s video game, guys. Look at me. I'm so knowledgeable about the old video games. Right, guys? Ooh.
You would not want to be here, but through your screen, you can imagine what it would be like to be stuck here. None of it makes any sense. You're a stranger in a world that's meant to be yours. My enjoyment in Duffy comes from the concept alone. The Amazing Digital Circus, all things considered, is very tame. When you watch the show, you don't think about the fear of forgetting who you are, of being trapped in a body that's not your own, of being stuck in a realm with no purpose. You wish you were trapped in the machine.
There's no way this guy. There's no way. There's absolutely no way in the world. He just said, you don't think about the. Wait, play it
Pretty
again.
tame. When you watch the show, you don't think about the fear of forgetting who you are, of being trapped in a body that's not your own, of being stuck in a realm with no purpose.
Of being in a body that's not your own. And proceed. I can't tell if he's being ironic or if he is genuinely that idiotic to say this. Does he proofread the scripts? Does he do that? I'm pretty sure I
You wish you were
Hi guys, I'm super excited to
I
be
don't
partnering
need
with
Tylenol.
to highlight their extra strength
Try
liquid
not to
gels,
go
a
back to
product
that
I truly
point
could
in
not
the video.
one or two buck, but there was a non-zero until it's not. Without breaking down mentally. I'm running with the assumption adventures created by a sentient AI and controlled the whole operation named Kane. There's a lot of gay people. Very basic synopsis, but it works for what I'm trying to say. Its actual story is more of a character-focused soap opera where wacky cartoon characters are faced with the realization that they are never going to find a way out of their digital hell and must cope with their own non-existence without breaking down mentally. I'm running with the assumption that you know.
I know.
My enjoyment in Duffy comes from the concept alone. The Amazing Digital Circus, all things considered, is very tame. When you watch the show, you don't think about the fear of forgetting who you are, of being trapped in a body that's not your own, of being stuck in a realm with no purpose. You wish.
Hear yourself. I can't continue this video. I made a promise at the beginning that if he said anything stupid, I would stop the reaction. And this idiot just said that. Well, a few minutes ago, he just said it's about the people have you come to terms that they might not escape the island they don't want to be in. And now he's like, you don't think about the thingamajig about being trapped on bodies on your own, about being trapped on your own with no purpose. You wish you were in there. And I can't tell if he actually watched the show. There's no way he actually watched the show. There's no way someone who watched the show would genuinely say something that dumb. He did not. Okay, reaction's over, guys. I can't continue this. He's gonna say way more stupid crap. I swear.